As you can probably see from the title, this video is all about the things that I would do differently with my first baby if I could. And before we jump in, I just want to clarify that this isn't about guilt or things that I've done wrong. These are just things that I've learned over the last year and a half. The very first thing that comes to mind for me is not spend the whole first year of his life worrying so much about my own weight and physical appearance. I spent so much time worrying about how my body looked instead of appreciating my body for what it did and what it was continuing to do by feeding my son. I think that this was particularly hard for me because I gained 100 pounds in my pregnancy, and of course, gaining that much weight in that short of time obviously isn't healthy and wasn't just because of pregnancy. I had started like some really bad eating habits, and I felt a lot of shame around it. I hated taking pictures of myself. I hated getting dressed in the morning. I never wanted to put on makeup because I felt so ugly. I just thought that if I put makeup on, it would imply that I thought that I was pretty, and that to me was mortifying. God, that's really sad to hear myself say that out loud. It does make me a little bit emotional to think about because I was just so exhausted. I was healing. I was trying to care for my son. And you know, I was not kind to myself at all. I was truly like at war with myself, and it really kills a part of my soul to know how much of my time and energy I spent just like saying the cruelest things to myself. So I guess what I'm getting at is that I wish that I had spent less time hating my body and more time giving myself grace. Another thing that I would do differently is I wouldn't beat myself up for stopping breastfeeding before my son was a year old. I carried so much guilt around that decision. I felt like by stopping breastfeeding, it meant that I didn't, this sounds so wrong because I know it's wrong because I have never once thought this about any mother aside from myself who has chosen to stop breastfeeding, but truly I felt like I was selfish and that I wasn't a good mom and that I had failed my baby. I don't think that I was really prepared for how challenging breastfeeding is, both physically, mentally, emotionally. It means that you have to either physically have your baby on your breast every basically like 2-3 hours, or you have to be hooked up to a pumping, but you don't get like a break or to breathe for more than like 2 or 3 hours. And I remember there were things that were so simple, like I wanted to go run to the grocery store, or I wanted to go with a friend to go out to dinner. And it was like, oh my God, well, I can't do that because I have to be back in like 45 minutes to pump or to feed my baby. And it just adds so much complexity to your life and to your daily schedule that I feel like doesn't really get talked about enough. And it is such a mental toll on you as well as a physical toll. And I just always struggled to produce enough milk as is. And then I was also like really trying to lose some of that weight. But whenever I went into like some kind of calorie deficit, it was just not enough to feed my son. And so I was constantly struggling with that. And I remember I made it a little past 6 months, and then I finally just gave myself the permission to go ahead and switch to formula. Yeah, I just think that a fed baby is best, especially if that means having a happy and healthy mom too. Another thing that I would do differently and that I am still working on doing differently is letting go of the guilt that I carry around food. I feel like I ended up giving my son a lot of like crappy kind of food. And what I mean by that is I would give him like white bread, French fries. I've given him Chick-fil-A. This is going to hurt to admit, and I'm really putting myself out there right now for some major judgment, and kind of deserve it. But yeah, he's also had McDonald's before, and he's 18 months old. That was the knife, and that was me twisting it. However, it's not like I am giving him those foods all of the time. I mean, I can count on one hand the amount of times that he's ever had fast food, but he does eat French fries way more than I would like him to. He does eat pancakes multiple times a week with actual maple syrup, not like watered down. He has the sugary kind of oatmeal. I've given him a bite of cake and ice cream. Yes, I will say, of course, he does have his fruits, he does have vegetables, he does have protein, he does have all of those things as well, but I do beat myself up so much over all of the kind of bad foods that he consumes. And if I were to do it over again, I don't know that I would do it the same. I think I would probably not ever introduce those foods to him, because I think it's caused this problem where now he obviously like prefers French fries to carrots, and he won't always eat the healthier food options, and then he gets hungry and cranky, and I constantly just think to myself, like, I wish so badly I never let him even have those things, because we wouldn't be in this like tension struggle. But kind of going back to the beginning of letting go of the guilt, I feel like, one, the guilt does nothing to serve me, and two, I was totally exhausted, running on empty, just trying to get through the day. I was choosing what was easy, what I knew he'd eat, and ultimately what would just get us through the day. Ultimately, though, giving him convenient food didn't ruin him. It didn't mean that I failed. It just meant that I was doing what I could in a really demanding season. Also, healthy habits aren't built in just 1 year. They're built over time with patience, consistency, and just offering those choices over and over again. And I have the rest of his life to keep offering him healthier choices and just doing better day by day. If you're watching this and you're finding yourself in any of these moments, the guilt, the second guessing, the wishing you'd done things differently, I hope you know that you're not alone. Motherhood doesn't come with a manual, and unfortunately, none of us get it perfectly the first time or ever. If I could go back in time and tell myself anything, it would be that I am doing the best that I could with what I had, and that is enough. So moms, here's your reminder that you're doing a great job, even on the days that it doesn't feel like it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.